Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about Rocket Lab's crazy price action and what has happened to it and what are my thoughts about it and what am I doing about it. And I actually did something. I sold put options for the first time in my life, so I want to talk to you about that and why I did that and my thoughts around it. So I guess I don't need to introduce you to the market in 2024. It's been pretty crazy. I feel like in 2023, everybody was predicting that the market was going to be super bad, and except for a few people. And then the market ended up being one of the best years ever that I've been around the stock market. And then we went into 2024 like, okay, we got this soft landing, so much money aside. Inflation is being handled, everything is being amazing. For sure, we're going to rally this year. And the market has only been going down, 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 down. So the market is like, hold my beer. I'm going to show you, you can be the same wrong again as we were in 2024. And I feel that Rocket Lab's price has also hit a crazy irrational point. And so let's take it from the 10,000 foot viewpoint, because basically, as you know, my investment philosophy and style is I want to invest in companies that I'm super confident in and I have super high conviction in. And I don't diversify my portfolio for, diversification's sake. So it's not like I have money on the stock market and I'm like, oh, this needs to be in at least 20 stocks so that I'm safe. It's more like I'm sending money to the broker account, and I know that I'm going to send money in the future to the broker account. I'm trying to keep a pace of about $100,000 a year, and so far I've managed to do it for 2 years. This portfolio is together with my dad, so some money is his, some money is mine. And the point with this is that if my conviction is very high in Palantir, I basically last year put almost 100% of the portfolio in Palantir. I'm a super long-term investor, and the stock kept going down, and I kept buying Palantir. And this year, the returns were amazing on Palantir. Now we added another. We actually could only add about $50,000, and some more money is on the way. So we ended up using $50,000 of margin to basically bridge in the money that hasn't arrived to the broker account. But I ended up buying about $100,000 of Rocket Lab because that's the stock that I feel like I did my hundreds of hours of due diligence. I really know the value of the stock. I kind of understand the business inside and out. And this is why I dare to go so concentrated. So I don't want you to think that I'm crazy and, I have a one stock portfolio. I kind of have a very, very concentrated portfolio, but the madness has a logic to it, okay? So at the point that I am I feel happy with the amount of Rocket Lab that I have. I feel happy with the amount of Palantir that I have. My conviction is, as good as ever. And the only job left basically on these two companies is just to hold. And I should be out looking for a new company. But as I said, I don't want to force this thing. I feel like the best investments that I have done and missed also was Tesla, Apple, Palantir, and Rocket Lab. So I obviously missed Tesla and Apple. These were my biggest investment mistakes in my life. But I have done my research on them. I just don't understand what happened. I wasn't mentally ready to invest at that time. And so the point of what I'm trying to say is I've seen this, and I should be looking for the new company, but if I'm not ready and I'm not feeling it, I get a lot of recommendations like Robinhood, SoFi, Upsellera. What are other companies that I get recommended to look at? And the fact that I'm not buying, it's not that I'm bearish on these companies, but I don't just buy stocks. Like I have to have a very, very high conviction. I have to have done hundreds of hours of due diligence. And this was a very long way of saying that recently I've been thinking that what if my next position would also be Rocket Lab, because the more research I do on this company, the more bullish that I'm becoming on this company. And I have really, really mixed feelings about this because yeah, obviously you can be wrong, and I've done really well with my recent picks, but it doesn't mean that I will have 100% betting average. And if I would have 200,000 in Rocket Lab, that would be a pretty hefty portfolio. So this is what I'm debating in myself, right? And then I got on Rocket Lab Weekly and on many other forums. I was speaking with Matt Farley, or Matt Money, as you know. He's basically the co-host of Rocket Lab Weekly. And he told me he was selling options on Rocket Lab because he didn't have money, And I asked him, yeah, but if you don't have money, how are you able to sell options? Because when you sell the options, you kind of need to guarantee that for example, if you sell a put option, it means that you are going to buy Rocket Lab at a strike price. So for example, if I would sell a $4 put option, what I'm guaranteeing is if the stock price goes to, let's say, 3.8, then I would buy Rocket Lab for $4 from someone. So obviously I need to have the money to be able to buy the stocks. And then he told me, yeah, it's true that I don't have money, but I have margin on the account. So if the option would be exercised, then it would be the margin that would, kick in on the account. And then he would have to just refill his broker account. And because he's anyways writing options on stocks that he anyways wants to buy on prices that he's anyways happy to buy on, he doesn't think it's such a risk. And he really got me thinking. And I've been, really studying options and looking at this, and I've been looking at Rocket Lab, and I think the stock price of Rocket Lab makes zero sense at this point. So I have a calculation that you can see if you join Patreon for $5 a month. Link is in the description box below. If you want to support the channel, there's not so much there currently, but I'm working on it. It's going to be great in the future. And if you enjoy the content and you feel you got value from it, I would be very happy if you would at least consider it. So this was the shameless plug. But the point is, if you follow the channel, you know that my fair value of this stock is somewhere between $6 to $8. So that's the fair value of today. And from that point, I see crazy growth potential for this stock if, things go good, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if this stock would be a $15 to $20 stock in the not so distant future. So this is what I think fair price is. So certain things have happened to the stock. So we had an insider selling, Peter Beck sold, and the stock price was at basically, this is 7.5 here. I want you to see my beautiful hat. Here we go. So we went all the way up to $8, and the market freaked out. So we had a large insider sales from Peter Beck, which is completely understandable. Sometimes you do need to sell the stock. I think the reaction to it was completely irrational. And we had a failed Electron launch. And I get it why the stock falls on a failed rocket launch, because it introduces a type of uncertainty into the stock, and the way as an investor you handle uncertainty is you ask for a bigger discount. However, and on top of it, in this period there was serious questions about Rocket Lab running out of money. How are they going to do with raising capital? The Fed was going to keep rates very, very high at this point. What's happening here? So there was a lot of questions about the viability of Rocket Lab, how they're going to survive the future. Are they going to dilute shareholders? And we basically, this is the points when I was buying Rocket Lab, and we basically started rallying. And then we came up to $5, which is still very, very undervalued. But we came up to this point. And then we had a successful rocket launch. So this period was bringing in a point where we are going to 100% grow the rocket launch division in Rocket Lab next year. We're going to have a rocket launch every 17 days, a crazy, very good cadence. And yada, yada, yada. A lot of good things. This is also at the same time that the Fed signaled that we reached peak interest rates. Maybe they will start cutting. And somehow after we launched this rocket, the stock fell more. Somehow, I don't know why I cannot show you here. We fell 10% on this day when we successfully launched the rocket, whereas we fell only 7.54% on the day when we failed with the rocket. So somehow the rocket launch, the success of the rocket launch was worse for the stock than the rocket blowing up. So I think we should change business and blow up rockets on the pad. That would be better for the stock price. So, but all jokes aside, so fundamentally, there's really good things happening, and then some magical thing happened. A contract was announced with the US government for over $500 million, which basically proves out the concept of Rocket Lab and what they have been trying to do, which is this end-to-end space company concept. And the even bigger thing, which doesn't get talked about a lot, is that based on my calculations, depending on how they count this contract, it almost puts them into cash flow break even. So if other things happen to the company, they very easily might hit cash flow break even, which again takes out a ton of risk from the stock. And the stock still only went back to, so the stock rallied a little bit, and then the new year came. We don't know why. The stock has been falling, and now we're back to below before we had the successful launch. So the stock price does not make any sense to me right now. This is why I'm starting to go like, okay, I need to do something here. And this is why, again, just learned about this new strategy. So this is my first time I sold a January 26 $4.5 put option. So that means that if the stock would go below $4.5, I am agreeing to buy 10,000 shares. I got paid about $1,000 for this transaction, and I'm fully expecting this put option to expire worthless. That is my hope. If it doesn't expire worthless, I have to buy stocks for $4.5 and minus the $1,000 that I got. So I believe that my break-even point is 4.4, and that is a super fair price. It's not a crazy. I mean, it's kind of a crazy deal, but it's not the craziest deal ever. Because it doesn't lower my cost basis, right? But I feel that my cost basis is 4.22. But at that time, there was so much more uncertainty on this company, and the scene and the fundamentals have improved so much that I still feel this 440 is a steal deal. And I am really, really, thinking about if the stock goes below that price, if I should maybe bridge in some money that I have coming in and maybe pick up some additional shares. I'm really, really weighing the pros and cons of this because I don't believe in margin, but because I am, margining out money that I anyways have in other places. I don't feel that it's the same risk, and I would only do it if the deal is very, very crazy, because I've done this once with Palantir. I watched the stock that I knew the intrinsic value of the stock, and I kept watching the stock go down and down and down and down. And I went in at one point and I filled up the position, and at $6, I knew I should have bought more, but I felt I didn't have the money, and I didn't pull the trigger, and that was a big miss. And I feel like it's worth to take risks when, you get crazy opportunities. But then the opportunities really, really have to be crazy. So I'm curious what you guys think about this. What do you think about, where Rocket Lab is right now? And let me know if you have any questions about the option trade that I did. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Please make sure that you're subscribed, and I will see you in another video. Ciao, ciao.